Pat, we'll exchange hugs and kisses later. We don't do intros here. So we've heard the Jonathan Taylor news. We're pretty much all up to speed on it, at least enough up to speed. But tell me this, how do we approach Jonathan Taylor when it comes to fantasy football and dynasty football? Nice and broad for you.
Bye, Clay. That's my approach right now. And yes, I'm completely biased about this since I am a University of Wisconsin graduate and saw Jonathan Taylor, kick ass for my Badgers for 3 years. But I do think this is kind of a buying opportunity, this little contractual impasse he's having with the Colts and, that every other running back in the league seems to be having at the same time. I know he's coming off a bad season that was largely caused by a high ankle sprain and a surprisingly shoddy performance by the Colts offensive line throughout 2022. But this is still a dude who scored 32 touchdowns in his first freaking 32 NFL games and pretty much just rampaged through the league as soon as, Frank Reich figured out that he was better than Nyheim Hines and Marlon Mack. So, he's going to be great again. Like, not only is he big and fast, but this dude's footwork and vision are just like really special for a back. So like he's got the requisite physical tools, extraordinary physical tools, but he's got the other stuff too. The magic elixir that I think makes him pretty special. So I mean, if the price has come down because of all this, like now's the time to act.
So you're saying he's on steroids? Is that the magic elixir?
He's a horse. He's a horse, no doubt. Hey, Scott, so you just finished that show on JT. You covered a little bit of the news to give us a baseline, but then you talked about his fantasy impact and what he really means in terms of points per game. Go ahead, bring up JT, what you talked about, and let's see how it is the same or different from what Pat's saying.
Well, if you watched it, just shout it out this morning. Put that video out about JT. Listen, I'm a player agnostic dynasty player. Everybody knows that. I'm a process over players guy. I'll buy Jonathan Taylor if it's for a random future first. He's a year 4 running back. I would right now. I don't want to put this out there because I'll probably have 20 people take me up on this bet and I'm not going to be able to track it. The odds he's there for your fantasy playoffs, I would say, is less than 5%. Right. The odds he gives you a difference-making season, less than 5%. We're talking he needs to score 20 points per game. Otherwise, he's replacement level. Give me any sort of leverage deal. I said at the end of that video, and I think people might have caught it, there is not too low that you can go on trading away Jonathan Taylor. Do you remember what I said, Clay? I know Shane didn't watch, so I'm not even going to ask Shane.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you remember what the last thing I said in that video was? If you don't, it's okay.
I do not.
I said, Shane, no, you don't. Shane has no clue.
I was trying to push it out, and YouTube was being slow. What'd you say, Scott?
If the process of the deal or the structure of the deal is correct, which is give me another running back that can finish top 30 or better and a future first, I'm out of JT because I don't think his value ever goes up. He's an old running back. He's not the type of running back that's ever going to hold any value. The value he has is going to be what he can produce. So I agree with Pat. I think he can produce. He's basically been an 18-point per game running back for his career, which is extremely good. Like the third most that's active at this time. But where's the value? Is there ever going to be that point where people go, I got to have Jonathan Taylor? If they do, it's I have to have Austin Eckler. I have to have Christian McCaffrey. I have to have Saquon Barkley. Is anyone out there paying a premium for those guys? Or is I'll buy them in the spots where I can get them at a certain price? So I do agree with Pat about I can buy him if he gets to a level. But what I've seen is the name Jonathan Taylor. People can't forget that a year ago he was a first-round startup pick. Yep. They haven't adjusted down fast enough. So if you can insert any top 30 running back in a first for him, it's an auto sell. And I'll just bet that his production.
Miles Sanders in a
not
first.
Even close.
Perfect.
Not even close. Give me I'd go as low as, man.
Well, Scott,
Wall Williams. Ajay Pirine, I'm down to the point where he is now.
He is 25, Scott? A 25 first, Scott? Or does it have to be a 24?
Listen, I just finished the Warp Series, right? The odds he is a different. My point is, if I can get a year's worth of spot starts, Shane, that's all I think he is going forward. He's just a little more projectable. So people are going to go, man, I can't do it. I can't trade him away. But then the deals I see people sitting there thinking they can get, are you really getting Dameon Pierce in a first? Are you getting Rashad White in the first? Is anyone doing that type of trade? I just don't see it. So I could go on all day, watch the video. My stance is pretty clear. It's not just I don't necessarily like JT. I don't like fourth-year running backs. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it.
Hey Pat, let me ask you this. How many let's get a baseline dynasty wise on you. How much dynasty do you play? We're not gonna determine how old you are right now, but how many leagues you win, things like that. What's your background?
I think I'm in about 8 right now. I think the number is 8.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what are your thoughts on that conversation? Selling Jonathan Taylor for Samaje P. Ryan and a 24 first, we'll call it. I'm totally on board with what Scott's saying, but what do you think?
I'm taking Taylor there, but I agree if it's someone like a little more useful, like a Miles Sanders or hell, even an Antonio Gibson and a first. Like, yeah, but I mean, we're looking at, a potentially fantastic 2024 draft class that could be, if that pick turns into Marvin Harrison Jr. or, Drake May
Bowers.
Bowers. I mean, Caleb Williams. There are a lot of juicy nuggets in next year's draft. So, but I mean, I will push back. Like, I don't think he's old. I think he's way more valuable than Barkley. I think he's way more valuable than Eckler, who's never going to see that kind of target share again. I mean, that was just a fluke of the Joe Lombardi offense. And like, I mean, Eckler's 2023 numbers are going to disappoint a lot of people. And Barkley hasn't been special in the passing game for like 3 years. Like, he is an old back. And we saw him tail off down the stretch last year. But Taylor, on the other hand, like, I'm actually really excited about what that looks like with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Because, I mean, we saw Robert Griffin III come into the league and turn Alfred Morris into a 1,600-yard back.
Love
and I mean,
Morris.
Think of the RPO stuff that they did in Washington and how effective that was. Now think about Anthony Richardson, who is arguably, just as good, if not better runner than RG3. And with Jonathan Taylor, who's like 800 times better than Alf Morris. And like, what you're thinking if you're the linebacker at the mesh point when those guys are, when Anthony Richardson is putting the ball in
lose situation.
Yeah, he's putting the ball in JT's breadbasket. Is he pulling it out or is he handing it off? And you're frozen there, just frozen, while one of those big dudes is going to be, stampeding in a split second, and you've got to try to figure out who's got it, where you're going. Yeah, I mean, like, Taylor's going to have a huge year, I think, if he does come in and doesn't tweak a hammy from missing too much training time and whatever. But like, I'm really bullish on him going forward. But I do see Scott's point. I mean, like,
end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about a solid back plus a pick in a really loaded class, sure.
Shane, where are you at on this? Because I was going to look in the community tab. There was actually a couple of good questions where it came to Jonathan Taylor versus, actually, it was Saquon and a piece. So I want to look back at that. Where are you at on JT, dude?
Oh, hey everybody.
Hi, Shane.
Hey, yeah, I'm on the show too. Yeah, no, I got to agree with Scott, but would have agreed with Scott anyway before this, because it's just even more acute now, because I think there's a significant chance that he's going to play 6 games and then he's going to go, ow, my calf hurts. Ow, my toe hurts. Ow, my back hurts. So it's like having a running back, but even worse, because this one has a reason to get injured. And just based off his comments and the way that it's going, I don't like to read tea leaves, but it's clear that he wants to beat the shit out of Jim Irsay, because Jim Irsay is a fool who says foolish things and shouldn't be allowed to speak. And he's probably high on Vicodin or something and shouldn't be allowed to tweet. But so I'm heavily out on JT. If I could get Saquon and anything, I'm out on him. Yeah, I wouldn't go down to Samaje P. Ryan, because then I'm just trading him for a random pick, because Samaje P. Ryan's a trash can. And I could have 30 years of Samaje P. Ryan starts, and they wouldn't equal 6 games of Jonathan Taylor starts.
But let me add this, Clay, just because there's so many things that go into this. One, I'm coming at the scope of I play in 60 leagues. I am purely playing based on process. So if I can get these process deals, I'm going to be able to get them in 80% of the spots. And I'm going to have a couple Jonathan Taylor shares where that league just is like, I'm not giving you more than a first, right? I'm not giving you more than AJ Dillon in a second or something like that. There is a stopping point. I think the other thing is, for me, this year for Jonathan Taylor, it's a wash. He's not going to come back and play this year. He's going to come back and then he's going to quit. There's no incentive for him to play when you're going to need him. What happens if after this offseason, the franchise tag, which is projected next year to be about $9 million, the Colts just tag him next year? And they go, you're going to come back and be a mercenary again. And you think he's going to sign that tag? Or you think it's going to become a Josh Jacobs or Saquon Barkley situation? Like, it could get ugly to the point where you're dealing with a headache for over a year. I don't want to deal with that on teams either, because at some point people are going to get sick of it. And they're going to say, you know what? Yeah, he may get back. I agree with Pat. He's better than Barkley and Eckler and McCaffrey at this point, but eventually he's going to get to those guys where he's only as valuable as what he can score. And then to the last point, he is not a difference-making running back unless he's going to run for 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. I'm not betting on that. His career target share isn't there. He's not a warp difference maker. So I'll just leave it there. That's my last comment on JT.
Well, I'm gonna ask one more question about JT. Let's do this. What are yeah, I need to, because I was thinking of a trade. What do you need on top of Brandon Ayuk to get rid of Jonathan Taylor, Scott?
Ooh,
assuming PPR, 12 team, super flex, start 10.
Man, dude, my brain doesn't work when you go cross position. It's so easy for me just to think leverage 2 for 1.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
How about a 26 first? Is that enough for you, Scott?
You know what? No, if you can get me Brandon Ayuk and then another running back that is essentially what I was talking about, I bet you I can get a first for Brandon Ayuk and I accomplish the same thing. So give me like Pat said, Antonio Gibson, Swift, AJ Dillon, someone like that that I can just use to occupy space for a year or two. I'm good with that because I can probably get a first for Ayuk.
So he's not making that trade. That trade's going to fall apart when you try to make it to Scott because he wants no parts of it.
Well, what's your answer, Mr. Shane? Ayuk plus what?
Ayuk plus I got to be careful. I have Jonathan Taylor in a couple of leagues, so that off top of my head, I'll take Brandon Ayuk. If I can get a 26 first and Brandon Ayuk, I'll take that for JT right now.
I would still need a solid piece. Miles Sanders and Brandon Ayuk would be.
I'd rather have the pick
plenty for me.
All right. Well, I'd rather have a 25 pick than Miles Sanders. So this is where we're negotiating.
We're talking.
So you offer me Miles Sanders. I'll ask for the 2025 first and Brandon Ayuk, and you can have JT, and I'll even throw in Gus Edwards.
Pat, did you like that answer? Before Shane answered, he had to make sure he said, well, I have a lot of Taylor, because someone will listen and send him the deal. And if he goes too low, he's losing a couple of Taylor shares to he goes too low.
Well, you're in Pennsylvania. 100%. It's a binding contract. Like, dude, no, spitball, go away.
Yeah, 100%. So let's throw this up here because, Pat, we are pumped to have you on tonight. Thank you so much for joining. We have 261 eyeballs in here. We've got a couple hearts and likes on the Facebook machine as well. Thank you for joining. Manny is one of our OGs. He says, fellas, no question today, just supporting y'all so you can keep bringing top people like Pat the Fitz. That's the truth, man. We appreciate your, he's a good dude. We appreciate your time. So let's, can we go to a dynasty trade, Pat? Is that cool?
Yeah,
we'll go
let's
back to
do it.
NFL
let's
question?
do it.
Rock on. So Rockstar, speaking of Rockstar 127 UT, thank you for the super chat. It is a 10-team Superflex start 10. Let's just assume full PPR. Swift and Mike Wilson for 224 seconds and a 26 first. What do you think, Pat? So a 10-team Superflex start 10, assuming just a regular PPR. Which side are you taking there?
I'm taking the picks. Swift, I mean, like, I don't even like his new situation, really. I mean, basically, he got the big thumbs down. He got the Roman Emperor's thumbs down from the Lions after they had seen all he had to offer. And now he goes, a guy who basically had his best games when the Lions were way down and was getting 13 targets a game when they were in catch-up mode, which is kind of a script that's never going to happen with the Eagles. I mean, the league low running back targets, 61 running back targets, less than 4 a game for the Eagles last year. Like, I just don't see it. Rashad Penny's a better back. I don't think Swift has a very bright future, and Wilson's intriguing, but like, he's a guy who couldn't stay healthy in college at all. And, you're going to give me 2 seconds in a loaded draft and a 2026 first down the road. Like, yeah, absolutely. I would take that.
I agree. Scott, what are your thoughts?
I think Pat nailed this one. It's a 10-team start 10. That's pretty shallow. you're basically trading away probably guys that are on the end of your lineup, if not on your bench, and you've just liquidated for 3 picks. You can always hold those picks and use them for something more useful later. So I think Pat nailed it. Nothing more to say.
Shane, do you agree, sir? Are you with us right now? Are you with us
yeah.
mentally? You're here physically. Are you here mentally with us?
I'm paying attention. Yeah, no. I mean,
No, that's
again, Pat nailed it. None of those players that you're trading away matter even in the slightest. So to be able to get it first, and I don't care if it's 2026, it is a win.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yes, please. Here, I don't have a banner for this, Pat, but let me bring this up to you. So training camp hype. All of these videos we see these snippets of, these players destroying a third team, DB or whatever, right? Looking great and all this hype. Where's your head at in terms of training camp hype and how to play it in Dynasty? In terms of selling the news? Go ahead. That's enough.
Well, Clay, I mean, I was pretty impressed by the George Pickens catch today. That was a pretty spectacular one against Joey Porter Jr. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like, because you see there was a Christian Watson catch today, and I forget who
was it. The bomb?
And someone remarked about, like, imagine fading him, and someone's like, dude, he had no separation. That was like a pinpoint throw. Like, you can almost perceive these things in different ways. So, man, I think if anyone. If training camp videos move the needle for anyone in your league, that's someone you want to trade with a lot. I think.
Love it.
Yeah, that's about all I have to say about that.
Also,
Shane, what are your thoughts?
George Pickens was actually there should have been an offensive pass interference on him on several of his catches. But yeah, that's okay. Yeah, look, we're getting excited because George Pickens and Christian Watson made a catch in practice. Isn't that what they're supposed to do? Like, you should be what you should be looking at as far as practice, like, is fuck the videos. You should be reading camper points. Who ran with the ones? Why did they run with the ones? How often did they run with the ones? You know what I mean? Like, were they mixed in just because, let's say, DeAndre Swift, and I don't think he'll be shit this year, but like camp practice reports are the Eagles are throwing a ton to the running back in practice right now. Now, that could just be because this is the first time they've ever had a running back that could do that, and they want to see what it's like. But the videos mean absolutely nothing. You want to actually see what reports are saying as far as who's running with the ones and things like that and why.
Yeah, Pat, with that being said, so training camp hype, training camp news, I see a ton. I don't know if it's my location and Twitter is like geolocating me or something, but see a ton of New York Giants. I'm a Commanders fan, for better or worse. I know, condolences, but what are your thoughts on Daniel Jones and that offense right now? Daniel Jones is going to get a ton of hype. Is he legit?
I mean, they were still 27th in passing yardage last year. I mean, I think Daniel Jones was good, but he was good insofar as he dialed way back on the turnovers. I mean, the league low. Think of Daniel Jones having the lowest interception rate in the league last year. If you would have told a Giants fan 2 years ago that would have been the case in 2023, they would have just been in a state of disbelief. So, like, that's good, and he runs around a lot, but I don't see him triggering some, I don't see him having like a 4,500 yard passing season. Like, I think he's capable but limited, and I don't think he's going to be challenged for a while. So there's probably value to that. So, like solid mid to upper tier quarterback 2 for Superflex. I mean, is that about how you guys value him?
Yeah, that's pretty spot on, right? Yeah, especially in 4-point per passing touchdown because of that running. And we also like him in a single QB. Shane and Scott do a ton of roster reviews. Hold on.
Whoa.
I thought you did. In single QB, he's one of those types that you could...
No.
I know Shane prefers single QB Dynasty,
but in single QB, it's Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, obviously Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson. Daniel Jones doesn't fall into that tier. He can't. Justin Fields.
I feel like Daniel Jones is if you're gonna
the welfare version.
Well,
the welfare version. Like, if you can't get Justin Fields,
chime in here, Scott. Where's your head at on this one? I kind of like Daniel Jones as a QB quarterback.
The interesting thing about Daniel Jones is his passing efficiency was really good last year, but he did it on essentially they're trying to neuter the offense as much as possible. So we'll see. Is that the weapons that he had?
Right.
Or was it a product of them just basically hiding him as much as possible, trying to not make mistakes? I think the good thing about Daniel Jones is he has nipped some of the things in the bud that was plagued with early in his career. The weird thing about him is if you look, like, he's allergic to throwing touchdowns, which is weird. But that's something that if we don't believe it's sticky, which we typically don't look at a player's touchdown rate and say, oh, man, he's never going to be able to do that again. He could throw 30 touchdowns. It could be all the offense. Now he has some weapons. He could go out and be a top 10 quarterback. I think he's comfortably like a low-end QB1, high-end QB2 in Dynasty, 12 to 18 range. But he does have a big contract. Like, he's got job security that a couple other guys don't. So you do have to throw him in that mix with probably right around Dak Prescott and Tua. Like, pick your poison. So I'm not against him. I don't have a lot of Daniel Jones, but I can see where you can take him with where he goes, and you get 3 years of top 12 production out of him, and you're really happy with what you paid versus his price, because he's going to outproduce a couple guys that we're picking ahead of him. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he outproduces a Fields or somebody like Dak or someone like that. Like, it's possible that it happens.
I like him better than Dak, because he has that rushing upside. So, I mean, look, Clay, in one quarterback league, if I can't get Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, people are playing hard to keep away. Maybe I do go after Danny Dimes.
If Shane has Dimes in a 1 QB, he has epically failed.
Yeah,
but
because he's playing in a 1 QB.
Yeah, I have to play in one of those first. I real quick, I'm in a couple charity leagues, and I just keep drafting quarterbacks until someone DMs me, and they're like, dude, this is one quarterback. And I'm like, oh, well, that's
it's like, you're hoarding quarterbacks. You're like, man, I'm destroying this draft. So Al Plack, let's stick with the Giants for a second, guys. As much as I don't like to talk about the Giants, who's the Giants wide receiver to roster in Dynasty? Hyatt's getting this early training camp buzz, but who's likely to end the year as a team's wide receiver 1?
But these are different questions to me, though. So, like, I like owning Hyatt right now because people are all excited because he runs really fast, right? He broke 45 miles an hour or something on the GPS. It's faster than Usain Bolt on meth, I think, was the speed that was quoted. So I like Hyatt because if he comes out and has one good game, I'm fucking out on him. And I'll sell him to some fool in the league that's going to tell me he's the next Tyreek Hill or some other wrong comp that they'll make. As far as who's going to finish as their wide receiver 1, actually, like Darren Waller, Matt Price brought it up on his his DLF article. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Like, if you're going to get a tight end, you want him to be the 1 or the 2 option. And I can't see anyone that's a better option than Waller in that offense.
I like Jalin Hyatt because I can sell him for the most. I probably like Wan'Dale Robinson or Isaiah Hodgins next because there might be someone in the league that would actually give me like a third for one of those guys. So that's nice. But then you look up and you go, man, maybe Paris Campbell you could get a third or a fourth for. You could probably sell him if you have him. And then you look up at the end of the year and Darius Slayton's the best receiver on the team in terms of production.
I was going to say, yeah.
I mean, they brought him back. Everyone thought he was just left for dead. Remember last year there was rumors he wasn't even going to make the team.
Yeah, it was
and this
crazy.
Wasn't the regime that drafted him, and then all of a sudden they re-sign him and they give him a 2-year deal, and you're going, wow, he got decent money, and we thought nobody even liked him. So they have a tons of guys. Right. They had to bring in Cole Beasley. That's another one that could catch 60 balls, and you're like, where did that come from? Sterling Shepard, we've left him for dead after like 3 career-ending injuries, and he's back. So
concussions.
Pat, would you be shocked if you looked up and the Giants don't have a single top 50 receiver?
I was just going to say, like, I would not be surprised if none of these guys got to 700 yards receiving. And for this year, I might, like, if that's the case, I'll bet Hodgins is probably the most valuable because Waller's going to get hurt, and Hodgins is like the only receiver they have over 5'10". So he's going to be the red zone guy, and probably it's going to be TD value with these guys. But I have to agree, for Dynasty, it's probably Hyatt just because he hasn't had any sorts of major injuries yet. He's
doesn't
fast.
have the stink on him.
Yeah. But I mean, like, the funny thing is the training camp buzz has all been in the early days of camp. I think these guys have just put on the pads like yesterday, Monday. Right. So it's Jalin Hyatt running around in shorts. And like the big issue with him, I know our college football and NFL draft analyst, Thor Nystrom, like, he thinks Hyatt and Cedric Tillman could be good, or they could just not pan out because Tennessee and Josh Heupel, the offense is so simplified. Like, these guys are just not running anything close to an NFL route tree. It's just basically making this as easy for the quarterback as humanly possible. And so Hyatt and Tillman are going to have bigger learning curves than a lot of the other rookie wide receivers, but a one-trick pony, but it's a good trick. The dude can fly. So what was it? Was it 24 miles an hour, Shane? Was that what the threshold was?
I rounded up
Daniel
to
Jones
27.
was?
I
Isn't
rounded
that
it
what
up to
Daniel
27.
Jones was before he
No,
fell?
because it's the fastest
was,
recorded. Right? No, it's the fastest recorded since Tyreek Hill hit 26.2.
Oh, really?
In like 2014 or 2018 or something ridiculous. I don't know. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. He still sucks at football. He can run all those wind sprints that he wants. He's ass. It's that simple. He's not good. Nothing about his collegiate profile tells you that is good. His draft capital is not good. Dude, just sell on him. Sell on him today. Go get a third. And then Scott was talking about
thirds.
Yeah, and Scott was talking about like some fool that'll buy Wan'Dale Robinson off of him for a third. That's me. I'll go buy Wan'Dale Robinson for a third.
So let's go to this right here. Pat, we're going to start with you. So this is from Dynasty Dumpster Fire. Thank you for the question. Any tips for getting Dynasty trades responded to more quickly?
Make them not insulting. Make them attractive to the other. I mean, like, I don't know. That's kind of my trade proposal strategy. Like, start with something you think the other person would, there's a good chance of being accepted. I know,
or at least the conversation keeps going. I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
You can
come in the ballpark.
Off.
Right.
Exactly.
Which is does not meant at all as any sort of backhanded thing at Scott, who I know offered me a trade the other day. I think I was like, I just like didn't have time. I'm like, oh shit, this has been. I noticed Scott had sent it like 3 days earlier, and I felt bad. I'm like, shit, I gotta just like, get this, clear the. I got to clear the decks and just say no. So it was I forget what the offer was. It was fairly reasonable, but
you can tell I'm a dynasty grinder when I offer Pat Austin Hooper for Teddy Bridgewater in 25 fast.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh my God. That's right. I'm like, wait, Teddy Bridgewater actually might start games this year.
Pat saw that and was like, I'm not, I don't care. I can't.
Wait, Scott just bought him in our league. Scott just bought him in the Hammer League, I think. Teddy Bridgewater is like, okay, what's going on?
Listen, when you got to take shots. That's why I grind. When you can buy Teddy Bridgewater for literally, I go down my team and I go, who do I not want? And let me throw him at this team for Teddy Bridgewater. So I think the Ars League, I threw Kevin Harris for Teddy Bridgewater. Okay. It's just a running back. I can replace another one. If Teddy Bridgewater were to sign with Cincy or Detroit, there's a chance he's a top 5 backup if he gets in there. And that's more valuable in a 14 or 16 team super flex than Kevin Harris or a 4th. So yeah, I bought a lot of Teddy Bridgewater and watch, he will never play another down and I will end up cutting him at some point. But
he costs you a waiver wire running back.
A waiver wire ad. So the 14 and 16 team leagues, you always go through the waivers and you go, how's this guy available how's this backup quarterback available on the waiver wire? I'm picking him up. All he needs is 2 injuries and he's a starter.
So let's go to Snarky Schmuck. That was hard to get out, but I did decently. Thank you for the super chat, man. Scott, thanks for answering my DMs, he says. Here's some retribution dollars. Man of the people. What would you add to Stroud to get Kyler? So we're talking a 12-team start 10 PPR with a 1.75 tight end premium. No one is moving K1.
Well, these are both Shane's. He's very close to both of these players, so I'll let Shane answer this deal. What do you think, Shane?
I'm not adding anything to Stroud to get Kyler. Why am I adding something to? I've already resigned myself to, like, if I'm going to move Stroud, it's because I want quarterback production now. I don't feel like waiting for Stroud to hit. So by doing it, I'm going to go get a quarterback that's likely not going to play in the first 4 weeks. No, I'm not adding anything to Stroud to get Kyler. I'll trade them straight up for each other. Back and forth, and Kyler actually is my most owned quarterback in fantasy football right now. Dynasty.
Is he really? Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, if you have a Stroud and Shane has a Kyler, you got a deal.
Yeah, because I have 4 Strouds and I have 7 Kylers, so I need to even it out. Now I'm not a portfolio player per se, but I do.
Well, you play one on YouTube. You play one on YouTube. Exactly. Yeah. Where are you at, Pat, on Kyler Murray right now? Where's your head at with him in fantasy dynasty?
I mean, like, I know a lot of the fans in Arizona are not especially happy with him. I don't think he's going to take anyone to the promised land. But the dude does put points on the board, and I've got him in a few dynasty leagues, and there were times last year before he got hurt when it would be like, he would just be crap in the bed in the first half. He'd be like, oh my God, he's got 4.6 points at halftime.
But then he'd
wind up with 22 or 23. Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
Right.
So he's definitely a point producer. And it's funny, I was just sneaking a peek at the FantasyPros Dynasty Trade Value chart.
No, there you go.
Insert that plug there. And we have Stroud
there. We'll get there.
We have Stroud and Kyler Murray dead even as far as value. So I guess that's pretty much in line with what Shane's saying. So
real quick, Kyler Murray, really bad season last year. QB 7 in points per game. Oh, wait, that's good, right? His worst season was his rookie year, QB 11. Stop it, people. I think people just have a vendetta against short people. Like they want to hate Kyler Murray, but exactly like Pat said, dude, you looked up at the end of the game, every just don't watch the game, but look at this box score after the game, and you're like, hey, Kyler gave me 20 points. Cool.
I just took away that you could remove Fantasy Pros trade calculator and just put Shane's brain there instead, and it'd probably be a crazier option. That's for
what
sure.
We do. We just hook up some electrodes to Shane when he's sleeping at night and just download all the data.
Fantasy Pros is too family friendly. I don't even curse when I'm a guest on Pat's shows.
That's risky.
I keep it a check.
Pat, so we are 31 minutes in, but tell us what you're doing over at Fantasy Pros right now.
Just got a lot cooking every day. We've got new articles coming out. I mean, we're in the height of it, and especially with the redraft season, draft season, just weeks ahead. So, we've got tons of new articles hitting every day. We're pretty much cranking something out on the Fantasy Pros football podcast every day. We've got the Dynasty podcast with myself and Scott Bogman once a week. And, just our draft kit. And I would encourage everyone who plays in a ton of leagues to consider syncing their leagues with us and being able to manage all their leagues in one place and get, free agent advice, waiver advice, trade advice, rankings advice, like all in one place. It's pretty easy if you use us to do that. So, we're in a big push to get people to sync through us because it's probably the best service we offer, quite honestly.
Yeah, because it just works through like a plugin on your browser, right? I feel like it's just a plugin, an attachment. Yeah. Shane, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and if you play in, I don't know, 137 leagues like Scott, my favorite thing is they do have you can have it set the lineups for you.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Autopilot.
Autopilot.
Just in case.
But you're traveling, you've got a family medical emergency. You never know what's going to come up. It's kind of handy.
Yeah, but I have OCD, so I still go back behind it and check behind it and then make some changes and then turn it off and then turn it back on the next week. But that's because I have personal issues, but I don't think most people would do that.
I use it, and then when a team falls out of the mix, I stick that on autopilot, and the tanking teams that are dead get autopiloted the rest of the year.
Oh, do you really do that, Scott? Yep. I didn't know you did that. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You have so many. You have to be efficient with your time, triage your time a little bit. So let's keep moving. Shane, you look like you wanted to say something.
I was just going to say, because there's these people, and I hear them talk about these things they have called families. So they say they don't have time to do all these lineups and stuff. So maybe that's one way to help is just doing that. So then you can spend time with, I don't know, these family people.
And I'll say this, the one good thing about autopilot, and Pat can talk more if you have questions about it probably, is you can filter out by who you want your rankings to be. So if you say, I only want a couple, you can sync to the 3 people you really want to follow, and you can put their rankings together. They give you a cumulative ECR for the week, and that's what your lineups get set on. So it's not just everybody at Fantasy Pros, which, I mean, it's hundreds of people a week when they're putting, if you use all of them, you can sort, and you can set it to base you want. You can pick one person you follow. Say you really want to just use Pat's rankings. He's going to set your lineups. It'll autopilot based on his. So it is a pretty cool service. It's really cool.
Look at Scott doing all the heavy lifting on the promo.
No, I know.
For me. I should be sending him money for this, man.
No, that was the best. Honestly, Pat is setting your lineup for you on autopilot. That's very cool.
Well, okay. I don't know if we want to sell that point exactly, but the fact that you can
Pat
pick other people
the
besides me.
The fact that you can filter. Got it. So let's go to this one right here. Quentin Hogan, thank you very much for the super chat. Looks like he won a golf trophy there. Is that what I'm seeing? Maybe,
nice.
maybe. A little jealous. Not that good.
Oh, it's Ben Hogan's grandson.
Nice. Oh,
Yes.
need Quentin to help me get rid of my hook. Awesome.
Oh yeah, I've got a mean snap hook. That's for sure. That's my default.
Same.
So let's go to a 1 QB 10 team PPR start 8. So super shallow, not including kicker and D. I have the 102 JSN likely. Wide receivers DK, AJ Brown, Cooper, Ridley, Elijah Moore. Running backs, we have Akers, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, AJ Dillon. Do I trade DK and Akers for the 105 and Eckler? So again, this is a super shallow 1 QB 10 team start 8. Who wants to start here?
Give me Eckler over Akers. I'm fine with the Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnston at 105 over DK Metcalf. So give me the Eckler and the other receiver side at 105 pretty easily. Akers is the one guy I don't think it belongs close to a lineup here. 10 team start 8.
Yeah. Shane?
Real quick, it's a PGA championship that Quentin Hogan won in honor of his grandfather, Ben Hogan. I believe that's the correct name, Ben Hogan. Yeah, I mean, it's start 8. I don't care. I'll take the hammer. I take the hammer. Eckler is the hammer. The 105 could be a hammer. DK Metcalf, I like the guy a lot. He's not a hammer. He's more of a soft mallet. Like he's one of those ones you get
like a rubber mallet. You get a dent out.
No, like you go to the circus and they give it to your kid. It's like a balloon one, so it doesn't really hurt. Like that's what DK Metcalf is.
Pat, where are you at on this trade here? Trade DK and Akers for the 105 and Eckler? Where are you at?
I'm naive, and I probably like Akers more than you guys do because I'm naive. But I find it close. I find it close to even. I wouldn't argue with you guys. I feel like Eckler's there's going to be a drop off this year, and then the end is going to be near. So whereas maybe if Akers pops a little bit this year as a workhorse, and it seems like there's really no one around to challenge his primacy in that backfield. But yeah, I mean, at best, I think it's a push. So if you guys feel strongly about it on the other way, yeah, then it's hard. I definitely can't put up a strong case for the Akers DK side.
Absolutely. So let's move here. The gray area has a question. Thank you for the super chat. I have 4 of the top 6 picks. Lottery is Saturday, and the 107, 109, 110. I'm a player or 2 away from really being a top team. How should I proceed?
No format, no starters, nothing. So it's hard to answer this question. So I would say probably consolidate because I'm guessing it's not a 10 or 12 teams start 13 or something like that to where I'd value all those players that you're probably going to pick. So, man, I mean, you got 7 of the top 10 picks. I don't know. It's hard to say without the format. There's a shit ton of value you can create with all those picks. It's just how do you proceed? I don't know unless you tell me the specific format, number of starters, teams in the league, format, all those things matter here.
Yep. Yeah. Shane, you're on mute.
I'm on mute. I don't know if you guys knew that.
What a rookie.
Top 6 picks, lottery Saturday, and the 107, and the 109, 110. So he has 4. So he's like 18 picks in the first round. He's player 2. Yeah, consolidate. I mean, there's no other way to proceed here unless it's a start 14, and I don't think it is.
Unlikely.
Got to sell some of those picks to bottom dwellers, right? I mean, even if for some proven vets too.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to the worst 6 teams in the league, and I'm like, here's 1,000 picks. What can that get me? What do you have that I want? Can I have your Jamar Chase because the rest of your team is terrible?
Here's 1,000 picks.
Right.
Nice. So let's throw something else up here since that just ended with Shane. Fizzle Dallas. Shane is the worst, he says. But sunglasses emoji. So
Fizzle's working on an outro song for me and Scott from Manic and Chill.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Does Fizzle know that crushes audience retention and people don't keep binging content?
It's going to be
bounce.
It's going to.
I know Fizzle's the man, but
it's going to be at the end too, though.
Yeah,
Shane
when
definitely
the end card pops up saying click on this next.
Shane definitely did not know that part when he went and got the outro song.
Dude, honestly, love Fizzle. His stuff is fire, so whatever. We'll figure it out.
We'll find ways to use it.
I appreciate everyone that DMs me and then asks me technical questions, and I'm like, "You've got the wrong person." Yeah,
Pandemic _ Clay. So Cleasy Money Spider, I just want to throw this up here. Does he have a super chat? He or she have a super chat? I just wanted to put this up here. If you're still listening, if you could just repost it in the chat, that will help Shane Bird.
I didn't see one, but I'll look again.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's go to this right here. Jamar Chase, his name sticks out. How much is too much? Andres asks. I'm pushing to trade for Jamar Chase in a 1 QB, 12 team, half PPR, start 10. What's the warp say on that position? Warp, that's one of your buzzwords, Scott. No, Mind Warped. Where you at?
It is Mind Warped. We did do a breakdown of a 10-team start 9. 10-team start 9, so similar to this. Not half PPR. I mean, listen, if you plug in the warp, even in a half PPR, Chase is going to exist way on the left side where the warp is probably over 2 wins for the season. How much is too much, though? I mean, in a 10-team or 12-team start 10, which is what this is, 1 QB, I think you're easily willing to pay 3 first because it's 1 QB. It's just, is someone willing to bite on a deal that doesn't include okay, I would be willing to trade up 1 tier. So the Lamb, Brown, Olave, Wilson, Waddle, that tier. You could justify trading a first plus those guys in a single QB just because the delta of what you're trading away with the pick is so much lower if it's a lower pick. So I think if you can get that done, fine. If you're just offering pure picks and just junk, Ayuk, Judy, DJ Moore, like those types, at least 3 of them in a first, I mean, it's not going to kill you. You know, you're going for the hammer.
Going for the hammer. Pat, what are your thoughts on this? Jamar Chase in a 1 QB, can you pay enough? I mean, what you sell him in a shallow 1 QB especially if it's a full PPR?
Oh,
I mean,
God, man. I would need
monster,
this. Right? Yeah, I'd need the sun, the moon, and the stars for sure. And I mean,
there's no reason to sell him, whether you're a rebuilder, a contender. He's just, I mean, he's no touch for lots of people, understandably.
Pretty much. Yeah, he helps you now and later.
I will sell him for AJ Brown and Jamar Chase. Oh wait, it is Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson.
That's what it'll take, huh?
Yes.
I think with Pat's answer, the idea being if he becomes available in your league, you should probably be on the buy side. Yeah. Like let them tell you what's too much, and then you say no. But when a player like that comes available, it's just like if Mahomes comes available in a super flex. Like you at least put an offer out there that they go, okay, I'm going to say no to that offer of 4 first. Okay, fine, fair.
So let's go to Alyssa here. Jonathan Taylor, we're going to see his name a few times. I feel like we had taken a little bit of a break on Jonathan Taylor, but let's get right back to him here. Alyssa has a question. 12-team start 8 got offered Jonathan Taylor for Pollard. I'm leaning towards no. Am I crazy? Love you guys. And Shane, Judy over Olave. Don't forget that bet. All right.
Insanity still. Pat,
Jonathan Taylor or Pollard? Looks like a straight up swap there. Yeah.
Despite Scott's warnings about Taylor and the possibility that he gets the blue flu this year, which,
Hey, Pat, sorry. I'm just going to cut you off. Your mic was getting a little bit scratchy, and I want to make sure we hear what you're saying. So I don't know if you want to try to troubleshoot it. It was a little scratchy there.
Well, I'll jump in because I like to talk. 12-team start 8 got offered Taylor for Pollard. I'm just going to hold on to Pollard. I talked about, Scott talked about it. I'm legitimately afraid, and not afraid because I don't want him to do it. I actually think it's genius. I legitimately am afraid that Taylor's going to play 6 games and then go, oh, calf's just tightening up, coach. I gotta go hit the bicycle. See if I can get this ready for you in the 4th quarter, hopefully. So I kind of foresee that happening, and it sounds like Irsay is pretty much digging a trench in the sand that they're not going to be paying him.
So I know Alyssa asked some good questions over the last couple streams, but I would just say this: it's a 1-for-1, right? No leverage. It's a 1-for-1 deal. If you want to pick Pollard, fine. If you want to pick Taylor, fine. There's not really an edge. betting on which one survives.
Bet on a
Hey,
situation sometimes.
Pat, let's hear you. Let's hear your mic now. Hopefully
Any
that
better?
wasn't rude cutting you off.
No, that's okay. Not at all. Any better or no?
Yeah. Let's just roll. Where are you at? Jonathan Taylor versus Pollard.
Yeah, I'd rather have Taylor for reasons stated earlier.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he's pretty good. And we don't know what Pollard is going to do with the increased workload. Like I think a lot of people just think like, oh, you're really efficient with this limited workload, give him more carries, and we're just going to, get the same Tony Pollard and more of it. But it's to use like a kind of a lame baseball analogy. It's like a relief pitcher versus a starting pitcher. The relief guy, all the best relievers are failed starters, but now they can come in and just throw their best stuff for like 20 pitches tops.
Yeah.
Whereas the starter's got to go 100 pitches and pace himself and use a little guile to do it. So I don't know. I mean, like Ezekiel Elliott has had the heavier lift for Dallas the last couple of years. I don't know if Pollard's going to work in the Zeke Elliott role, whereas Taylor has proven he can be a workhorse. So that's kind of my case for Taylor over Pollard.
Yeah, makes sense. I have so many Tony Pollard always on my dynasty rosters. He's like the perfect running back for how I like to build, and I think he's one of those perfect running backs. He looks like he's shot out of a cannon every time he touches the ball too. Let's keep on moving here. So Cleesy's is in here now, but let's go to this one first, and we'll eventually turn these supers off. Hopefully you're enjoying these enough, Pat. These trades, dynasty trades are cool, right? So no PPR, 12-team Superflex start 9, Saquon or Olave plus Dalvin Cook. Olave is Shane's love language, and he's on mute. Go ahead, Shane.
I wasn't on mute. I was just mumbling to myself softly. But no, even if Olave wasn't my love language, he's a top, what are we saying, 7 dynasty wide receiver over a 26-year-old oft injured running back. And I get a Dalvin Cook who can approximate Saquon's value, assuming he ever signs with a team, which I was assured it was going to be the Jets over the weekend, but that didn't happen. But I assume he'll sign somewhere at some point. So yeah, this is Olave and Dalvin Cook. It's not even close.
Man, I don't ever play one, but no PPR. I think I'd just take Saquon in a start 9.
I don't know what that means.
That's what I mean. When you say no PPR, I don't know if my brain works and can get to that range, but I would say from my days back in 2000 playing in standard leagues, I would say I would probably go with the running back here, especially in a start 9.
You're getting them, Dalvin.
Yep. Okay.
I'm taking Olave and Cook also.
Yeah.
I'm going to send Pat a trade offer while we're working.
Hey, why don't you guys start up a standard league and see how those trades go then?
Yeah, let's do a standard 1 QB start like
listener league.
Yeah, right. Listener league. Gosh, we have to fire those up. For anybody listening who knows they're in a listener league, don't worry, they're coming. We're figuring it out. StreamYard needs to make it easier to find out which one I'm on right now. It's kind of obnoxious with all these different colors. Okay, let's move to we're going to move to another super, and then I'm going to come up with a non-super chat question. Okay, let's go to Johnny Sung. Thank you for the super chat, Johnny. 1 of 2, 12-team Superflex, half PPR with a half-point tight end premium. So full PPR for tight ends. Start 11, 2 tight end league. Okay. Did the opposite of trade up for 2 elite QBs, and the league overdrafted wide receiver and faded running back, so I zagged. Scott's going to hate this. Traded out of the first, went RB heavy, got 324 firsts. Quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Rodgers, Purdy, Stafford. Running backs, CMC, Eckler, Chubb, Javonte. Wide receivers, Ridley, Godwin, Hollywood, Bateman, Juju. And then Kelsey and Njoku at tight end. I'm a contender. League mates are saying, or a pretender. Trade moves?
I don't love it,
What do you
but
think?
I'll just say this about Johnny's build. I think he can win based on the talent that he has right now. He's got a lot of players that can score points. My concern is his quarterbacks are in bad shape. He has old running backs. He has Travis Kelce. He has 3 firsts, one of them probably his, which if he's trying to contend is going to be 110, 111, 112. If he doesn't hit on those picks and finishes 3rd place, This team goes into the offseason with absolutely zero assets that he can probably move outside of Kyler Murray, which is probably going to be the player he wants to build around. So that's the only risk. It is kind of like an all-in build where, had you built that team with the elite QBs and then still drafted all those win now running backs and got a couple extra picks, I would have been fine with that. But I just think he left himself very fragile with multiple ways it can fail. And probably not, unless he traded for the right 24 first that were not his, he's probably going to be stuck with, I have a lot of pieces next year, but not a single receiver under the age of 26, all old running backs, and no foundation quarterbacks, and then Kelsey. So it just feels like it could go wrong if he doesn't win. I think he can, but it could go very wrong. Clay, you're muted.
You're muted. What is this? Amateur hour tonight? Jesus.
What is this? What is this? Okay, let's keep moving here. Johnny, thank you for the super chat and the question. Okay. So let's I'm looking at some of the things that Shane has got starred. Shane, do you want to put up the one from Anthony West? You're the one who stars these. You can put them up if you want it up on the
nothing to
screen.
do with that, but I'll put it up, and I am going to PG this. Shane, will you sign? Yes, I will sign anything. We'll be at the Fantasy Football Expo in 2 weekends, right? 2 weekends. And we're going to be doing a live show at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. on
10
Sunday.
a.m. Come see us do our thing live. And then I'll come sign any body part that you want. And I mean, look, pretty much everyone knows I'll do anything for money. So that's the other thing I just wanted to get out there. So we won't be able to do super chats when we're doing the live show. But if you just want to throw money at me, I will accept it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Pat, when Shane goes on little tangents like that, that is a TikTok or an Instagram reel for me. So it's fantastic. We just let him go. We humor him. He creates so much content and he doesn't even know it. Okay. Cause he doesn't listen to our stuff. That's a fun fact too, right? Okay. Let's keep going here. One more super, and then Shane's got, can you find some like strategy question or something in the chat for me while I'm driving here? Marvin Cano, thank you for the super chat. So a 10-man super flex, start 9. T-Law, Tony. Okay, here's a chase. Here's a trade. Trevor Lawrence, Kadarius Toney, 2 late 24 firsts, a 26 second for Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, and Elijah Mitchell. Who should add more? The other team has Kirk, Bryce, and Tannehill.
The Tony team should add a lot more, like a better wide receiver than Tony, and then something better than 2 late 24 firsts, and not the 26 first isn't moving the needle. So that side by a lot. They just need to reformulate that whole plan. That's it.
Scott?
I mean, it's a 10-team start 9, 10-team super flex. I don't value T-Law close to Chase.
Yeah.
And then you're still getting Devontae Smith. So I would take the Chase Smith side pretty easy here.
Where are you at on this, Pat?
I got to agree. The 10 man makes it, it does devalue Lawrence a little bit. I mean, that just makes Lawrence a, average quarterback in that. So,
Sure.
Yeah, I think this needs to be reswizzled a bit, probably. I just don't
The
think
trade offer sucks. So everyone's being all nice in case it's the listener that or the viewer that put it up. But even if it is, your trade offer sucked, and that was a terrible offer, and it should go back to the drawing table. Drawing table, yeah.
Drawing board. Drawing table works.
Well, drawing table. Look, if you draw, you should do it at a table, right? You need a flat surface.
Yeah, Shane, are you still like doodling? I remember our last live stream, you were like shuffling paper, and you said because Mason was a pen. Oh, all right. Well, with your virtual background, I can't see your stick figures over there. So Ethan Moore has a super chat and a question. Thank you very much. So I've gotten so into dynasty mindset and strategy that I've forgotten redraft was a thing. Can I still stay player agnostic and redraft? How do you use your dynasty knowledge to perform well in redraft? Pat, let's start with you on this one. Where's your head go when you read this?
I still think the dynasty mindset, at least with people like, Shane, who's dynasty brand I've seen in action, like he knows how fungible running backs are. And I think that's kind of the case in redraft and why people have, we've seen a shift in recent years. Like now, if you go on underdog best balls, which are redraft, you're seeing like a newer emphasis on wide receiver, and they're just more stable assets than running backs are. And I'd much rather sink heavy capital into stable assets than unstable assets. And, that's really underscored in Dynasty, but I think it applies to redraft too. But you've still got a lot of cavemen who are out there thinking robust running back is the way to build.
Shane, where you at? I see you private chatting me, but where are you at on that question?
I have no idea. We asked Pat. He plays redraft. I play in one redraft league. It's an 8-man start 7. Everyone has a good team, so you know what I mean. Like, I'm just drafting whoever I want because every dude's a stud for the first 4 rounds. So
I'll just say this: it's getting very close. A lot of Dynasty is now played like redraft. People are very, very short-sighted, which is fine. That's just the way that it is. So I think they're becoming very close together to the point where you can almost look at a lot of how players are valued in Dynasty and say, I could almost go along with that in redraft, because especially running backs, like Pat said, I'm a big proponent of, what do I always say? Running backs are 1-year value, guys. If they're a first-round pick in redraft, like, they should be a top 5 running back in Dynasty. I don't care if they're 27 or 23. Like, we're getting ahead of our skis with a lot of things. So I think they're becoming very close together.
For sure. Okay, Shane, we're gonna give you this one here. We're gonna start, guys and gals in the audience, kind of just delegating these one-person handles, the super chat at a time, just to respect Pat's time and just make this a cleaner experience for everyone. Did we do this?
Yeah,
okay.
and
Wasn't
we
on start
for playing in a standard league.
That's right. So here's Jerry. So it's a 12-team start 9 plus kicker and defense. That's unfortunate. You can make it minus kicker and defense whenever you want. Full PPR. Traded Garrett Wilson and Goff for Lamar. Come on.
Are you sure that's
trying
not,
to throw me
sure
off?
that's
Gorb?
not the tight end? Is that the
what
tight
is this
end?
Gorb? Like, Pat, you don't understand the inside
That's Jeff
joke here, but
there was a tight end, Josh Schwame. So he traded Jeff Schwame and Garrett Wilson and got Lamar. Dude, yeah, obviously it's Lamar. It's a super flex. I love Garrett Wilson. I'd probably have his baby if he asked me to. But
what does it say after Gorb there? And then I'll put up after Gorb.
Is that a giant?
Nothing. It just says Gorb.
Okay, so it's part 2. It's super flex. Traded Sky Moore and Baltimore defense for BA. What is this, Jerry?
I love how you give Shane the one that nobody can even figure out who the players are.
The one that needs all the focus. So he traded S'mores and
Wardef.
Great deal. I don't know. He got Lamar Jackson in a super flex, so he did well. I don't know about the rest of it, but he got Lamar Jackson for basically Garrett Wilson, and we'll assume it was Jared Goff. So yeah, fine. Good job.
Okay. Nicely done. Who was that? Jerry. Jerry just created a good TikTok there. That'll have legs after this show. Trust us. Okay, so Scott, we're going to you on this one. From Pete, thank you for the super chat. It's a 10-team, 1 QB start 8. So a nice deep format for Scott. And that's heavy sarcasm on my part. Cousins, CMC, Pollard, Justin Jefferson, Chase, Higgins, Judy, Ridley, Andrews, and Freiermuth. As far as 23 picks, 107. Needs a QB1 and RB depth, Pete says. Trade the 107 for a QB or running back. Aim for Anthony Richardson or rookie RB at 107. Trade a wide receiver for a QB or a running back. What are you doing here with this team, Scott?
Well, I mean, it's a start 8, 10 team. You already have McCaffrey, Pollard, Chase, Jefferson. It's going to be hard to lose, and you have Andrews. Yeah, it's going to be hard to lose if you get a good quarterback. So I'm trying to get Anthony Richardson. He may be gone at the 107. Honestly, there might be somebody that goes, I need a quarterback too, because all my other ones look like Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff. So I'm going to take Richardson at 104. So yeah, I'd spam that 107 and throw in Pat Freiermuth, throw in Jerry Jeudy, throw in Calvin Ridley. I don't care about them in a start 8. Right. Lamar, Fields, a difference maker, right? Just literally go down the line and try to get like a top 6 quarterback. And I mean, you just take the field with McCaffrey, Pollard, Chase, Jefferson, Andrews, and a quarterback, and it's going to be hard to lose if they stay healthy.
For sure. So, Pat, this one's for you. Okay, this super chat's for you. This is from Jake Kelly. Thank you very much. Nice and generous here. 1 QB, 14 teams, start 8. All right, half PPR. There's no tight end premium, and it's a 4-point per passing touchdown. Start Jay Allen, Garrett Wilson, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Dotson, Aaron Jones, Khalil Herbert, Everett, and a couple 24 first. Championship. Potential or need more moves? Suggestions. Love you guys. #orb, #hammer. What do you think here, Pat?
Really like those wide receivers. Little iffy at running back, and kind of nowhere at tight end. So I do think he needs more moves. Man, like if he wants to defend that championship, think he's got to ship off one of those firsts and shore up running back and tight end, don't you think? I mean, he's in win now mode, right? He's got a great quarterback and like some pretty serious firepower at wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine upgrading at another wide receiver too, like Dotson from there. But yeah, definitely tight end. When your tight end, the only one you list is Gerald Everett, then you've got problems, deep emotional seated problems. So you need to upgrade your tight end position. Something awful, just something awful. Like that's one of those rosters where you'd add David Njoku to that, and you'd be like, okay, now I feel better. And you shouldn't feel that much better, but you would after having Gerald Everett.
Okay, so this one is directed at Shane. Shane, can you please talk about the difference between 8-man playoffs can have on the league economy? So how can 8-man playoffs affect the league economy?
And Shane asked Arnav for a strategy question, and here you go. You get that.
No, actually, Arnav said, hey, don't forget my question. And I was like, well, we actually already have that started, but that's fine. So 8 teams make the playoffs out of, I'm going to guess 14?
No, 12? It's got to be 10 or 12. I mean, just based on this question, right?
It can't be a 10 team, because if it's a 10 team and 8 people make the league,
it's like the old NHL where they had 21 teams and 16 made the playoffs.
The entire Wales conference.
Shane, in today's world, it's probably an 8-team league where they let everybody make the playoffs so they feel good. And then you just have to win those 3 weeks, right?
This generation is not that soft. Obviously, trading is going to be impacted severely with 8 teams making the playoffs. Me, if I'm one of those bottom 6, 7, 8 teams, I'd be selling like a champion to the people below me, trying to let them get into the playoffs instead of me, because I probably have a crap team.
Let me ask Pat this real quick, because I think this brings up an interesting point. Pat, it's 8 teams out of 12. Let's just hypothetically say that, right? That means there's no buys, right?
Right.
So doesn't it almost feel like if I even have an average team, I'll just take my shot, because I'm going to be in the playoffs. And I mean, even if you lose in the first round, you still get the 105, the 106. Like, I kind of feel like everybody's a contender there. I mean, even if I can just get in, I don't feel good in that league if I have a really good team, because I have to win 3 playoff games now. I could get screwed just randomly.
You can make that case for sure. But Shane brings up an interesting point about being able to, if someone else has delusions of grandeur and they're sitting there at 9 and think they can get into the playoffs and step on the gas and maybe win themselves a title, that, it might give you some additional sell opportunities. If you're sitting there at 7, you're inside the cut line, but you just don't have the right stuff and don't have the right stuff for the future. Like, you might be able to turn that into a rebuild opportunity.
It's like when you're exceedingly average and there's some really smoking hot chick that's hitting on you. You're like, there's something not right here. Like, there's something like I'm not supposed to be at this level. So clearly this is probably just like some scheme to make me go see like some timeshare. Yeah. So just sell.
Random, the fantasy plumber. If you put it up there, I have to read it. And I'm already like still partially laughing from Jerry's comment before. They're still starred so that I can screenshot it. Fantasy plumber says randomly screwed is a good weekend for Shane. That's like, if he checks that box, it's a win.
Isn't that a good weekend for anybody? Well, you guys are married, so maybe
wait till you get married. Yep.
Yeah,
I've been married. So
I know.
I remember it
And
was
you got
random.
unmarried.
Yeah, and it was random towards the end there. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this next one. Okay, I'm gonna take this next one, and then we're gonna pass it to Scott because he can announce something real quick, and then we'll keep moving. And if we have time, I would like to give away one or two things really quickly at the end. I don't know if you want to as well, Pat, but you can always bail for that part, and we can throw Chili Willy Nut Dust at our tribe. You don't know what that is yet. Shane's like covering his face. Okay, so I will take Charlie's. Okay, here's my boy, Professor Charlie T from Los Angeles. His tend to be tough to read. So keepers are people too is the hashtag for his super chat. Thank you, Charlie. 12 team, no PPR. Oh yeah, he's in a standard scoring one. Okay, Charlie. Start 8. Hammer time. Jamar Chase 5th. Okay. Charlie kills me. Jamar Chase in the 5th, Etienne and Hurts 4th, Olave 6th. Okay, got it. Keep 2, have the 103, no 2nd or 7th, have 2 8ths and 9th. Can I trade picks and players, process over players for this kind of game? Why did I give myself this one? A keeper question? We're just asking for horrible podcasting right now if I take this one. Someone who heard me say that, can somebody pick this up? Pick me up.
It's I'm just gonna keep Jamar Chase, obviously. It's keep 2, it's a super flex.
It's
No, I'm guessing it's a single
starting
team.
no.
12
in a
team.
standard
Charlie, just quit
league.
this league. Can I just say that? Just quit the league because Charlie's a friend of ours, so now I can speak frank to Charlie. Charlie, get out of these leagues. All right, come play. You're in a big boy league with us. Step up. Tell your friends to step up, play in better leagues, or just go on Sleeper and find like-minded individuals. That said, I guess I'll keep Chase and
Olave.
Yeah, I'm thinking that or Hurts, but I really, really love the quarterbacks and the one quarterback, but no PPR. Jesus. Yeah, I'm going to take Hurts and Chase.
Yep. Agree. Hurts could be a warp difference maker in this, right? So we're gonna. Speaking of warp, Fly Meat Wad says, Stream Night, congrats to Scott on the Mind Warped launch. Just downloaded my audio of episode 1 to listen to tomorrow, and congrats Clay on going full-time fantasy. Happy to support Trades in 5. So Scott, shout out Mind Warped, congratulations, and then let's loop Pat in to see if he is into this whole warp craze. Scott, talk about your program here.
Yeah, so we launched MindWarp, mindwarp.com. All I did was show up and record with Adam of 4D Chess, and we recorded for, it's almost 25 hours worth of videos. So we call it literally a lecture course on Warp. You can buy an audio, a video, or a video audio with the Warp tool. So there's 3 different options. But I got to give a shout out to those guys. Adam literally has been up 24/7 for the last week.
He's a machine.
Putting it together, editing it. I mean, all I did was show up and record and did a little bit of stuff behind the scenes, but he did a ton to do it. And then Koopa, the creator of the Warp tool, right? Koopa Troopa, Dynasty Koopa, like super smart dude. He's the whole reason we're talking about Warp. I started talking about it a while ago, but never was really able to like go on a show and actualize it and show people it. But now we have the Warp tool where you can plug in any league and you can literally look at the historic distribution of win rates. And it's really, really cool. So shout out to those guys, mindwarp.com. Just check it out. And yeah, it's a new thing. I've never done anything like that. The first like digital product that I can say I've put out there. So feedback is welcome. Thank you.
Love it. Pat, do you have experience, know about Warp, thoughts on Warp? This Warp 4-letter words that together, you know what they mean, unlike Shane and myself?
No, I'm unfamiliar with it, but I'm anxious to dig in immediately after the show.
Yeah, no,
Scott can give you a discount. So I know, guys. So hit up Scott.
Trades in 5.
Trades in 5. Yeah, use the Trades in 5 discount code. Trades in 5, and
we definitely can't hook him up with any kind of free taste on it, right? Yeah. Not even a chance. He hasn't even joined us on a Tuesday live stream. Okay, let's go to this one right here. Pat, we're going back to you. Chris Brooks, 10-man Superflex Dynasty League. It's start 3 wide receivers. Would you guys feel confident taking Derrick Henry at 602? I've taken Lamar, Brees, A.J. Brown, Diggs, and Hawk so far. So it's in a startup. What do you think? Are you taking Derrick Henry at 602? Obviously, you're making a decision right there to contend. Looks like you may be in that spot. What do you think?
No, because I'm not even confident he pays off this year. I mean, Tennessee is the worst offensive line in the league. And I mean, he is just staring at the age cliff. I mean, he is like Thelma and Louise hurtling toward the age cliff. Like I want something else more structurally sound at 602.
Yeah, that's fair. Any thoughts on that, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, without knowing the rest of the board, it's hard for us to
Yeah.
really say like for sure who I would or wouldn't take, but that's going to be pick 52 overall in the startup. So, and plus you already have Breece Hall. I mean, there's probably running backs that are going to fall where you can say I can plug and play. I'd probably go with a receiver like Pat was saying. Just don't push it. You can still contend even if you don't draft Derrick Henry. Draft some more insulation.
Right. So we
was that
go ahead,
super
Shane.
flex, by the way? That was super flex.
I unstarted. I'm not sure.
All right, well, I'm just going to guess it was super flex. I mean, just Najee Harris is going around there too. It's like you're just hell bent on going running back. If you're absolutely hell bent on going a running back that has 1 year of predictable value, maybe Najee Harris.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear Pat say that too. It's cool to hear him say that because everybody's like, "Oh, Derrick Henry's a hammer." Like, if you want to win a championship, just go buy you some Derrick Henry. But we're not X's and O's guys, Pat, in terms of offensive line and looking at that kind of stuff. So you're much more bearish than we are in terms of what he can do and get us a ship. Okay,
Yeah.
let's move to this one here. So Mike the Mike, got to throw this up here. Very cool, very generous. He says, "You guys got me through a rough year. Thanks for all the knowledge and devotion." Hey, we appreciate you, man. That's special stuff. That's that's goosebump raising stuff. So
Hey man,
thank you
and
very
if you're at
much.
the expo, stop by. We'll get drunk together. Oh, well,
Yeah,
unless we don't drink
definitely.
anymore, then we won't do that. Yeah, so just say hi at the expo. Just do that.
Nicely done, Shane. Nicely done.
Shane has no idea why it was a rough year.
Yeah,
Let's just get drunk.
He's giving up drinking. I'm like, dude, let's go get hammered. He's like, all right.
Well, whatever it is, it's awesome and kind of hilarious that we could get somebody through a rough year. But hey, we'll take it, right? That's a win for us. Okay, let's keep moving here. We're gonna stop at 10 o'clock, everyone. All right, so we're getting there. We have 378 people watching us. Thank you so much for joining. And hit that like if you don't mind. Easiest way to help out this little channel here. Okay, we're gonna go to Rhett Cortez. Shane, you ready to knock this one out? One of two. Leagues going to Superflex in 2024. Congratulations. That's awesome. 12 teams, start 9, half PPR, no tight end premium. Lamar, Kyler, Howell, Javonte, Rashad White, AJ Dillon, and then any RB on a 53. CD, T, Judy, Cooks, Hodgins, and Sky. Schultz, Chiggy, and Likely. So he has the 103, 106, multiple seconds, and a couple 24 firsts. Should he send the 106, 206, and a 24 seconds and Likely for London and Ayuk? How should I value rookie picks this year before the transition?
Yeah, so that's
Shane, what do you think about that trade?
That is not rummy picks. Go back to the first part of that 106.
Yeah.
I don't, because I could care less about the 206, and a random 24 second.
Half PPR, 12 team, start 9.
Yeah, it's only start 9. So the only thing I might look to do is what's Ayuk plus London equal on that roster, and what can I do to get that from them? Because the dudette is clearly already in the mood to move. So is there one singular piece that I could get that's greater than those two separately? Because I don't know that I'm going to start Ayuk a lot in the start 9, and if Drake London, again, as much as I love him, we don't get points for target share, as someone pointed out on the show a couple weeks ago. So you could have 30% target share.
Dynasty Rewind. Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's 4 targets a game. So I would do the deal, but I'd like to see what else I could do.
Sure. Fair enough. So let me ask you real quick, Pat, what are your thoughts on Drake London in terms of X's and O's, NFL football, and then, let's tie it into Dynasty.
Like him a lot. I mean, I like that he earned a big target share last year. And granted, the target share kind of spiked when Kyle Pitts was out. But even with Pitts back this year, we know it's still a pretty skinny target tree in Atlanta. Basically just Pitts and London as serious target earners. And I mean, it wasn't a big sample size, but like some of his metrics kind of spiked at the end with Desmond Ridder, who, I mean, you know, as iffy as Desmond Ridder might be, he was still a major upgrade over Marcus Mariota. Like, I think London averaged like 3 yards per route run with Ridder at the end of the season, which is pretty good. And so, I mean, I like him. I think he's going to be, you know, if not an outright target hog because of the presence of Kyle Pitts, you know, a prolific target earner, even in a run-heavy offense. And eventually they're going to get rid of Arthur Smith because, like, the caveman thing isn't going to work for long. And then he's going to get a big value spike in a year or two when Smith is gone. But, yeah, I like London. I think he's really good.
Yeah, he checked a lot of boxes in his rookie year for sure. That's one team that I can't wait to see, honestly. I mean, Bijan, Pitts, in London. And see if Ridder can do anything at the help. It's very interesting. Okay, let's move to Scott on this one. EVDiz17. Thank you very much for the super chat. It's a super flex 10-team start 11 PPR rookie draft finally next week. Exciting stuff. We're quite removed from ours. 2 trades I recently made. One gave Kamara a 24 first, which is mid to late, for the 102 and 206. So let's start with that, Scott. Look at that format. Gave Kamara and a mid to late 24 first for the 102 and 206.
So it's Kamara and a mid first for Gibbs. I would do that. And you get the 206 for free, which you can play around with. So give me the 102 side in that deal pretty easily. It is a 10 team, so I think you could go Gibbs, you could go Richardson, really whatever you want to do, depending on your needs. I'm all in on the 102 there, not even close. And the second one, that's a pay to brag. In a 10 team, you got an early to mid first for Brock Purdy in the 208. Yeah, all day.
Yeah, gave Purdy in the 208 for a early to mid 24 first. Yes, please. So I said, how did I do? Hashtag pay to brag. Hashtag pay to get embarrassed. Cheers.
The former, definitely paid to brag. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely the former. Gosh, could you imagine if that ends up being, you know, what are the top QBs or Marvin Harrison? Like, come on.
And you got Brock Purdy.
Yes, exactly. It's going to feel so gross. Okay, I'm not going to be able to read Arnav's there, I don't think.
Why?
It's a trap. Just
Just throw it on the screen. This is Shane's turn.
Okay. Yeah, but I can't read it. Shane, do you want to read this?
No problem.
Look at this thing.
Super flex, 12 teams, start 9, 8 man.
Puffs.
Playoffs?
Playoffs, 8-man playoffs. Thank you.
Here's
Tay.
It's either Devontae Adams or Javonte Williams.
Okay. And
one of the two, maybe?
Higbee, second, or James Cook, Deontay Johnson at 25 first, and Hyatt. So I'm going to go with Higbee and whatever Tay that might be.
I would think it's Deontay Johnson, right?
I think Deontay or Javonte.
Deontay's on the other side of the deal.
The first.
He can't be on both sides.
Yeah, Pat, that's not Tay. That's a Dio John on the other side.
All right. 3 first.
Okay.
And Kirk for Diggs was declined at the deadline. All right. So, I'm taking whatever Tay that is. If it's Devontae, as long as it's not Devontae Parker, I'm taking it.
Just take the one that has the first, Shane.
No, I'm taking Devontae Adams and hopefully not Tyler Higbee, who I believe is T. Higgins. I don't know.
T. Higgins or Tyler Higbee is a big difference.
It's a pretty wide range of outcomes here. I'm going to take Dio John to 25 first because I have mostly.
You know what a 25 first is.
I believe I know what that question is.
He does say it's Devontae Adams.
It's Devontae.
The chat is just rolling because no one can figure out what the deal is.
I think Deontay Johnson was on both sides of that trade.
He was.
Okay, so it was Devontae Adams.
Tay is better than Dio John or whatever it was, though.
I give up. I'm sorry. I gotta go on mute right now.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay, let's go to Cleveland.
That one to Shane.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to. Let's give this one. I'll take this one. I think I'm like very close to just like being laughing like crazy, but here we go. Cleasy Monster Sniper. Monster Sniper. Cleasy Buddy Sniper. Okay. Nice. 1 of 2. 12-team Superflex, start 9, full PPR, no tight end premium. Quarterbacks are Fields, Baker, Darnold. Condolences. Running backs, J.K. Dobbins, James Cook, Penny, Madison, Zamir White, Singletary. Wide receivers are looking better. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, J-Mo Thielen. Tight ends are Hurst, Jelani Woods, Ertz. The second part is have the 109 and 224 first. Take QJ, Flowers, or Kincaid. Also trying to trade out for another 24 first and load up for the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Make a pick or trade out. Okay, so looking at this format, 12-team Superflex start 9 full PPR. So the question was, have the 109, a couple 24 first. If he or she had to make the pick, so is asking QJ, Flowers, or Kincaid. Is there any kind of stack opportunity? No. I don't know. I like Zay Flowers a lot. And it didn't say, yeah, it's no tight end premium. Give me Zay Flowers. Give me Zay Flowers. Makes sense?
It's not Dalton Kincaid. So whatever we're saying.
Right.
Well, wait, he said he can get a 24 pick for.
Well, yeah,
the
obviously
109?
that's ideal. Yeah. If you can punt the 109 for another 24 first, good with that. Are you good with that, Pat? Should you take Flowers first off in this group of 3? No tight end premium.
He's selling pretty much everything except Chase and Lamb there. Pretty much everything else is not nailed down, and he's trying to have a fire sale. And
good call. Yep.
And if the pick can net him more there, I'd be willing to part with those guys. I mean, Shane and I have talked about this before. We don't love this draft class. I agree that Flowers would be the pick for me too. I think he's the safest of those guys. But like if I needed him to choose the deal to acquire more 2024 firsts, I would do that.
You're more than happy to do that. Yeah. Especially when you have 224 firsts. When you get the third one, it's actually more valuable than a normal first, right? Because you're getting that additional leverage with that third pick. Or at least that's where my head is at it. Okay. Dynasty Dumpster Fire. Did we do this one, guys? I've been bad about unstarring tonight. Did we do this one? Because he gave us a super. No. Okay. No. So Shane or Scott, this one's for you. Dynasty Dumpster Fire. Thank you for another super chat. 12-team Superflex PPR start 9. Quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson, T-Law, and Watson. Wide receivers, JJ, CD, Higgins, and DK. Running backs, ETN, Najee, Monty, Swift, and Penny. And then Kittle and Pitts. 124 first and some seconds and thirds. Moves or ready to go?
It's a start 9. You're definitely ready to go. Sure, you can try to upgrade. You can try to trade 3 for 1 if you really want to narrow it down. But what I do here is, since I already have my 24 first, what can I sell out of that group to get a couple more firsts and still probably contend? I'm still a top 3 team. Even if I sell George Kittle for a first, I sell Najee Harris, I sell DK Metcalf, I could still win with what I have. So sell from my excess. I'm already riding on Lamb, Jefferson, T-Law, Lamar, a couple of my running backs. So I'd be willing to sell. I think you either go for another. I mean, literally you pick out the top 8 players and see if you can get them. And if you can't, I'm willing to actually sell, get some feature picks, keep this train rolling.
No doubt. All right, good stuff. Thank you for that super chat. We only have a couple more here, and then we're gonna let Pat rap about everything he does and plug whatever he wants to. And
we giving something away? Are we
giving it's up to Pat if he wants to hang for that, or he can bounce. We can do it afterwards. No problem. So let me throw this up here because this will give me time to get a giveaway set up.
You want me to Zach, read? I'll read.
Okay, sure, go for it.
12 teams start 10 PPR Superflex. Push in for this year or wait and chill. He's got Herbert, Carr, Stroud, Ritter, Mixon, Sanders, Charbonnet, Kendre Miller, Waddle, Olave, Kirk, Debo, Evans, Tony, Quentin Johnston, Pitts, Meyer, 124 first and a 25 first and second. 12 teams start 10. We pushing in, or should we just wait till next year? Anyone. This is a free form question.
Doesn't feel like a push in roster, to be honest.
Man. Okay, Pat, let me ask you this. Here's the problem with this team. I'm guessing Just think about a couple of your leagues where you may have a team that looks like this. It probably exists for a reason. Either you really pushed in last year and picked the wrong players.
Yeah.
Or you've tried to move some of these players and you can't. Because I'm guessing if you've been on the fence, you've probably had the likes of Mixon, Sanders, Kirk, Debo, Evans, Derek Carr on the block, right? Like you're probably sitting there going like, is anybody willing to give me future picks for a couple of those guys? And the answer is probably no in this league. So it almost feels like this is a 6th place team.
It's a purgatory team. And Zach, I am totally there with a couple of my teams too.
So do you don't sell your future picks. You don't sell the insulated assets that you have. Like you're not moving Pitts or Waddle or Olave. But it kind of feels like, man, if I have Mixon and Miles Sanders, I mean, sure, there might be times where I can sell them once the season starts, but I think I got to go into the year just saying, hey, I'm going to at least kind of half-ass try to contend, right? Like,
yeah,
you don't have a choice.
And then if, maybe if you, like someone like Mixon goes off and you're still not really getting anywhere with that team, you're still floundering around 500, then maybe it's a selling opportunity. I don't know.
Or go and target the guys we always talk about, Shane. Who do we always try to get if you have a team like this? Go buy Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Go test on Jonathan Taylor. If he sits out this year, you get him next year. Like those are the guys you probably go to. And if you acquire Jonathan Taylor or Kyler Murray, guess what? They've just helped you kind of punt this year, and that's the direction you wanted to go.
Right. And then you got Ritter to sell as soon as he has one good game in season.
He needs one good throw.
Would you put Jamison Williams into that category, Scott?
Shane?
As a player you would sell?
No,
as a player you'd maybe buy because he's not.
Shane is a buyer.
Because he's bad, because he's terrible at football, because his historical comps show you that he's going to be out of the league in 3 years hanging out with John Ross on John Ross Island.
John Ross Island. Okay, let's we're gonna get a giveaway tool entry going here. So if you do #orb, it's lowercase ORB. All right. So we got an extra. We're launching merch, Pat. We're launching merch.
Ooh,
finally.
nice.
Very stoked about it. We have so many SKUs because we, geek out about a certain thing that our subs right, that it becomes a brand. Okay. But we got sent an extra sample of an Orb hoodie. An Orb is just a blue circle, Pat. Like, don't even worry about it. But #Orb crowd. If you type that in, you only have to do it one time, get you in the giveaway tool, and we'll give you that hoodie, size large. Okay, let's go to the last super, and then one more giveaway idea. Chris Switzer, thank you very much for the super chat. 12-team Superflex, half-point tight end premium. Okay, so we're assuming PPR and then 1.5 for tight ends. Yes. Startup, I only have the 209, 301, 3 9th rounders, 3 10ths, but I have, in terms of 24, 6 firsts, 3 seconds, 2 thirds, and then 6 more firsts in 2025. And 5 seconds, just absurd amount of picks. What's the play at 209 and 301? If he plays this right.
Well, I mean, I'll look at
a monster. No?
I'm gonna look at the bulletproof players right now on bulletproof ADP. So here's who's going at 209 and 301. Jonathan Taylor and Travis Kelce. So you're not probably drafting those guys in this league, but around them, Bryce Young 210, Kyler Murray 302. If I could go Kyler Murray, Bryce Young with all those picks, I'll be real dangerous in this offseason when everybody has, or I have what everybody wants. I'm holding 6 firsts in 8 seconds, or 12 firsts in 8 seconds over the next 2 years. Yeah. Give me Kyler and Bryce Young if I can get those guys. I'd even throw a second onto each one of those picks to move up like 2 or 3 spots to secure both those QBs. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. That is a good play because you want to lock that down, man. All those future firsts. If you play it right, you can.
What's going to be crazy is his team will suck this year, right? But he'll have 2 quarterbacks that are ready to smash next year, and then he'll be able to add Caleb Williams or Drake May or Marvin Harrison Jr. to the roster.
Young and Kyler were.
Look who we picked, and I literally didn't know it until we put it in the chat.
That's awesome.
It's amazing, man. It's like perfectly set up for. Yeah, love it. Okay. So what we're going to do, go ahead again, hashtag orb, hashtag ORB. You only have to enter it one time. We already have 74 folks who have entered that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click it like 3 times and I'll tell you what the prizes are going to be. But Pat, in the meantime, tell us about yourselves. There's two Pats or just you. I mean, you could talk about multiple Pats. Tell us about yourself, what you're doing, what we should click on when we go to Fantasy Pros and all of that good stuff. And thank you.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I mean, let's see. So just really enjoying this time of year. Great time of year, start of August. Great to have football. We've got an NFL game this week. Well, the Hall of Fame game. Doesn't really count, right. But, we're going to have college football, meaningful college football starting this month. So, I've got the juices flowing for sure. And just go to Fantasy Pros, check out our dynasty rankings, which, we're always updating the dynasty trade value charts. We talked all about like the League Sync tool we have and how you can manage everything in one place with us. And, appreciate Scott giving his pitch on that as well. And our all important autopilot feature. People can check me out on Twitter at Fitz_FF. And, be sure to check out our podcast too. We're not as entertaining as you guys, but we try. So, and thanks again for having me, you guys. I mean, this isn't goodbye. I'm going to stick around for the rest of this, of course, but it's been great hanging out with you guys. Oh, hell
see
yeah.
you at the expo, right?
I'm going to try to take you guys to George's and buy you Pabst Blue Ribbons in exchange for some of that fresh Dynasty Trades and 5 merch. So.
I'm all about it. I didn't know PBR was a thing in Canton, Ohio. I was a PBR fan in North Carolina where I went to school. I did not know it was a thing there. Yeah. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go back to the giveaway tool. We're just going to start running it right now. And yeah, Pat, this was awesome. So I'm going to show my screen. Let's see if I do this properly. Present, share screen to the giveaway tool. Okay. Let me know when you can see it. We good? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was hashtag orb, 93 entries. People are trying to fire it in last second. We're going to hit the draw button. This is for an orb hoodie. It's black. It's gorgeous. It's a large. It seems like it's a sample, but it seems like a winner. Oh, it's almost Theo. Sonic Boom 919. Okay. I need to remember the timestamp and orb. Got it. Okay. Sonic Boom 919. Got it. Let's draw it again. This is going to be for another piece of merch. So whatever male or female wins this one can make a selection. Okay. So Luca Carroll, congratulations. You also will be winning a piece of merch.
Nice.
And then I just want to, so we'll just run that a couple times. Again, I want to respect the time here, but also we're going to be giving something. I don't know how to reach him or her, whoever's behind the My Fantasy League handle. How awesome is that person for always retweeting everything related to a poll and all of our stuff? So My Fantasy League, if you listen to our show, we'll find a way to get a hold of you and we will give you something free and cool because you're awesome. Been retweeting our stuff for 2 years. So guys, that's all I got. I can't talk anymore. Shane, did you enjoy this? How do you think we performed tonight?
We did okay. A little choppy at the beginning there. I was a little worried, but we pulled through. No, it's Tuesday. This is our night. It's good to see the numbers bouncing back up there. It's about to be football season. Like Pat said, it doesn't really count that football game. I count it. I'm watching Canadian football. Canadian football is like, I'm like, all right, football's here. It's coming. I can't wait to be at Canton. So, yeah, 2 more weeks we'll be at Canton. Hopefully everyone's there. If you're there, you see us, say hi. Unless you don't like me, then don't say hi or anything mean to me. Just let me walk by. But, yeah, if you see me and you like me, say hi.
It's going to be so fun. Scott, parting words?
No, it was a good time. The season's going to be here like this. I was just talking to my wife. This is the last weekend I have literally before football starts because I'll be doing
it's crazy. Yep.
The Expo. I'll be doing KFFSC. I'll be doing FFPC in Vegas. And then literally the NFL season is here. We got Labor Day in there, which I'm sure everybody here has multiple drafts sometime in around Labor Day weekend too. Yep. So it's like, this is the official kickoff, August 1st. I mean, we're going to be streaming. Ray and I start our show on Sunday night, Destination Chill. So that's launching. So it's just it's going to be here like that. We're going to be setting lineups and dealing with, hey, this guy's questionable, and you have no idea if they're going to play until Sunday morning at 11:30. So it's just going to be the madness of the season that by the time it's over, you're like, I need an off season so we can grind a rookie draft class and actually focus on content again. So I'm ready for it, though.
Yeah, get your popcorn ready. All right, I'm going to end this broadcast. Thank you to the 350 people who stuck with us until the end, and we'll see you next time.